Welcome to Everyday Car Guy. Today we're in Ocoee, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando, and I rented a Kia Sportage. So come along for a ride and I'll show you what this car is all about. Welcome to Everyday Car Guy. Today we're talking about a Kia Sportage. This is actually a 2022 Kia Sportage. I'm out here in the Orlando area visiting my son, and we rented the Kia Sportage. Of course, when you go to rental companies, a lot of times they give you the base model, and this is the base model. This has no frills, very few options, but looking at the base model, from the outside, it looks pretty good. It comes with 17-inch rims, aluminum rims all around, so that gives it a kind of a nice stance. And I actually like the lines of the car. The way the windows get smaller in the back gives it a nice stance. These plastic rocker panels down here, if you get them dirty, they're very easy to clean. And I also like the way it kind of makes the car look kind of skinnier along the side. It makes it have a nice stance that way. I like that look there. In the front, you have the LED lights that have a nice glass cover on them. And the thing I really love about the front, besides the honeycomb grille, is the running lights. These LED running lights that are built right into the seams of the car. Looks very futuristic and really cool. But it does come with two options that I think are amazing. Immediately you can hook up your phone with a Bluetooth and get Apple AirPlay or Android CarPlay, which is fantastic. Took only a few seconds to hook it up, and then immediately I have my GPS apps, I have my music apps, and I have my phone book in there so I can call people. Very easy to hook up. And surprisingly, the second thing that this car comes with, it comes with lane detection. So when you're on the highway, you put that on and it holds the lane. And we'll show you that in a little bit, how well it holds the lane. It does come with cruise control, as most cars do, and power windows, does not have a sunroof, and does not have seat warmers, leather seats, and all those nice accoutrements. But it does have a lot of base features that I do like. So the hatch is manual in this car. So you reach underneath here, and it just opens up. The nice thing about it, it has quite a bit of space back here. And to put the seats down, you have these little latches here. You just pull the latch, and they fold right down. And on this side, you have a latch here too. Now, as you can see, the seats will lock down, and that'll give you about 6 feet space by 41 inches to the wheel wells. That's quite a bit of space back here. To put the seats back up, though, you do have to unlatch them. And the nice thing is the seats actually can tilt back a little bit, so that's pretty cool too. Now you do have to manually close the hatch. Pretty light, pretty simple. So one of the things about the base model is that you have the key and you have to actually unlock it with the key. Who has the key today in 2022? The interior is a cloth interior, not the best looking fabric, but probably very easy to clean. So if you have kids or if you're going off-roading in this car, you can probably clean this. I almost think you can take a hose to it. It's so versatile, but I'm not crazy about it. But there are firm seats and they are comfortable. So let's take it out for a ride and I'll show you some more things in here. So when you get into the car, you have to use your key fob and you have to hit this button. It's like a switchblade to get the key out. You actually have to lean over to see where to put the key. You turn it on and it immediately comes right up, the system comes right up to speed. My phone, Apple CarPlay, hooks up immediately. Now, if we get rid of that, what other things do we have? I can go into that. How do I get out of Apple Play? Oh, look at that. See, it has Apple Play, has Android Auto, USB music if you hook on there, and then if you didn't have Apple Play or an Apple phone, you could hook up your Bluetooth. You still have FM and AM radios. As we always do, we put our seatbelt on. So I like the way the screens are. They're very large screens. They have a screen here, which is your GPS, your radio, and all those things. You can split it from GPS to your Spotify. Hooks with your Spotify real simple. Has 3 different modes of driving: normal, sport, or smart. Let's stay with normal. You have a lot of buttons here, but they're pretty simple. You have your cruise control, lane keeping assist. You can change what's on the screen here, and then your radio and your telephone. For a base model, this car has a lot of nice options. So let's take it around for a quick drive. So it's a pretty comfortable car. It seats 5 comfortably. You can see that the fabric is, it's kind of basic, but again, this is a $26,000 base model Kia Sportage. Pretty cool car. Has quite a bit of room. I wish it had a sunroof though. It does not have a sunroof. That I would like. There's a little bit of a blind spot in the far corner, but it's not bad. If you're at a stop sign for a while, the car actually shuts off, just like our Lincoln does. And that's just to save gas at a traffic light. And the traffic lights here in Florida are really long. They stay red for a long time. So the car is stopped, the light just turned green. Let's see how quickly it reacts to stepping on the gas. Wow, as soon as I took my foot off the brake, the car started up. I couldn't even get my foot to the gas pedal. So let's see what it's like to put the cruise control on. So it's just a quick 1 button here, but now I want to put on lane assist. So that's this button down here. You click that on, and now the lane assist is on. So the car is kind of driving itself. I'm hands-free on this car. This is the base model Kia, okay? Base model, and it can do this. Very impressive. I love the very bright screen. One thing I haven't had any problems with is reading the screen in the bright daylight. I haven't had any sun blasting on it, so it's a pretty neat screen. I believe it's about 10.5 to 12 inches wide, so that's a very large screen. Has USB-C and USB adapters for your phone to charge. There's buttons here that should be here, but they're not. I'm sure they're for seat warmers and seat cooling stuff and things like that. It's got a lot of plastic though. As you can see, it's a lot of plastic. I like the door handles. I like the way they did it. It looks pretty good. I think, again, if I was a parent with young kids, this would be a good car because I think that the interior seems very sturdy and you can clean it. The seats are really firm, which is great. I like the firm back on them. Everything is manual though. There's no power seats in anything. There's no power back door. There's no power folding the seats. There's no power. I mean, I have to adjust my seat by reaching down and grabbing the little bar at the bottom. The back seat has quite a bit of room in it too, which I do like. So the car has 187 horsepower, inline 4-cylinder. I think it's a 2.4 liter engine. That's not too big, but it actually gets 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. The 4-cylinder is not as peppy as my Turbo 4, and it's certainly not as peppy as an electric car. The brakes feel very firm. The ride is good. It has good handling. It's interesting, even driving on the side roads, I can feel the car correcting anything that I'm not and keeping me in the center of the lane, which is all good. Now, I did do some research. This car does have an anti-braking system that if it senses someone in front of you, car stopping that you're not aware of, or a pedestrian, the car will automatically brake. We don't test those things because if anything goes wrong, that could be really bad. Now, I went online and I looked at the 2023 that just came out, and the 2023 actually has keyless entry and keyless start, which I do appreciate. I do like that a lot. So let's get on the highway and see how this thing handles the highway. The steering doesn't feel all that responsive. It feels a little heavy. I know it's a front-wheel drive. Let's see. Transmission kicks down real fast. It's quick. It gets up to 70 miles an hour pretty fast. That was pretty quick. I like that. I believe this car weighs just around 4,000 pounds, and with only 187 horsepower, it's not super fast. This model starts around $26,000, and of course you can add everything from leather seats to sunroofs and heated front seats, cooled seats, electric everything, and that model's in the $35,000 range, which is still a pretty good price for this size SUV. It does ride pretty good, and it's pretty good ground clearance, and I'm telling you, I'm pretty impressed with this little car. I'm actually surprised at how quiet the engine is for being such a small engine and having to step on the gas so hard. It is pretty quiet. 0 to 60, let's count it. 60. Wow. I think I read a book by the time we got up to 60 miles an hour on that one. That did take a little bit of a time to get up to 60 miles an hour. That was interesting. I wonder if we put it in sport mode, how it would do 0 to 60. And here we go. 60. Oh, it's in sport mode. It stays on those lower gears. It knows that I'm trying to wind the gears. Passing gear, not so strong. Does not have a lot of torque, I will say. Okay, cruise control and lane departure is on. We got a turn coming up. Let's see what happens. No hands on the wheel. That's pretty good. As you can see, she's coming right around that turn. My hands are right by that wheel. Don't trust any car enough, but that's pretty good. Now it's saying keep your hands on the wheel, so I did. So there you go. This car actually can hold the highway pretty good. It can hold these turns. And I've driven on the highway and let go of the wheel, and it really does hold the lanes well, and it takes you through the turns quite well. If I was to recommend this car, I would definitely not get the base model. I would want to get a couple of things I would definitely look for would be the blind spot warning and the adaptive cruise control. Those are two things I would put down as a must. And I don't know which model you have to go up to get those two things. So this is the town of Windermere, which is a really cute town. And all these places are surrounding Orlando, and you would never even know it. I used to come to Orlando only for Disney World and Universal. I had no idea they had all these cute little areas around here. Also nearby is a place called Winter Garden, which has some great little shops, restaurants, antique stores, which I love. So we're going to check that out too. This Orlando area, once you're outside of the Disney/Universal theme park area, it has some cute little towns. And we're going to also hit up this DG Donuts. So come along for a ride. I just picked up my son Kevin, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the surrounding areas around Orlando. So Kevin, tell me a little bit more about DG Donuts. What does the DG stand for?
DG stands for Damn Good Donuts. This was a small donut shop that was running out of a gas station convenience store. So they were making their own donuts. They had a tiny little kitchen, and the donuts were getting sold out at like 8 a.m. every morning. And so, of course, they had to build someplace new. So rather than working out of a gas station, they found a place here in Ocoee that they were able to rent out. And they opened their first brick and mortar right here in downtown.
Yes, I see there's lots of brick and mortar back there.
Well, the thing is, their donuts are also incredibly intimidating. They've got an apple fritter that's like this big.
They were gigantic donuts inside.
They have apple fritters, and you got to cut them up like pizzas to be able to make it work. But I haven't seen anyone try and take one on themselves, but they really should start a challenge over here for social media. They made the inside reflect the outside.
Yeah, you notice those things because you're a designer. That's what you do for a living. But
I love it.
So tell me a little bit more about Ocoee. I mean, I know we're in like central Florida, but what are we near?
So Ocoee is in between Orlando and Winter Garden. Winter Garden is a little bit of it's an older money kind of place, beautiful, huge mansions, and a beautiful little downtown area that's been slowly building up for the past 50 years. So from Disney Universal, we're a little north. So like if I wanted to make it, the furthest theme park from us, I think is Animal Kingdom, and it takes about 40 to 45 minutes to get there, and that's the worst of it. Nothing like when I lived back in LA and it took me an hour and a half to go 30 miles to Disneyland.
Well, that is California traffic.
Yep, and the nice thing about Ocoee is we're close to all the toll roads. Granted, you got to pay a little bit, but what is it really? It's worth the $3 to be able to have a 15-minute drive into downtown rather than a 30-minute slog. If you live in Ocoee, you are no less than a mile or two away from the local toll road that can get you 30 minutes to the airport, 15 minutes to Disney, 15 minutes to downtown. So you're in the middle of a lot of things, and we don't have state income tax, so I always feel like it balances out in some way. But when you have families that are coming in and are renting cars, now they've come to Disney so many times, they're thinking, oh, maybe I'll go somewhere else. So we're seeing tourists that are going into Winter Garden or going into Winter Park, and they're visiting wonderful places in downtown. Church Street Station used to be the hub of nightlife in Orlando, and then downtown Disney and the Pleasure Island took that away a little bit. Now downtown Orlando is becoming a big deal again, and people are visiting there from out of town.
There's a lot of cool things around this area. I do like it.
Yeah.
I'm so used to Orlando and all the theme parks that having something beside a theme park is really kind of cool.
There's a lot of really wonderful things here, and especially during the pandemic where we couldn't go to the theme parks anymore. Theme parks were a huge part of our life, not only designing and working at theme parks, but also...
Because that's what you do for a living.
Yeah. But
I mean, we drove the Kia Sportage all around. It's a real good family car. It was very comfortable to be in the car when we came around here.
remember when we used to go to Disney World and we'd be able to get on the Magical Express from MCO, the Orlando International Airport, to the park?
Yes.
That's no longer free. You either have to Uber or you have to rent a car. So a lot of families who can afford it are now renting a car for those days and just driving to the parks and getting parking passes. So when you have people renting cars, they're more liable to leave property.
Kevin, thank you for introducing me to Akoi and to DG Donuts. I really love this place. I hope it's successful. I hope you can, if you're down in the Orlando area, find Akoi and find DG Donuts. It's a really cool little area. There's lots of cool towns around here. Let's continue our little ride, but thank you. For more information about DG Donuts, go to their website at www.dgdonuts.com or check out their Instagram at DG Donuts. For more information about the City of Winter Garden, go to their website at www.cwgdn.com. It's time for Everyday Car Guy's Report Card. As for comfort, the Kia Sportage has a good ride and the seats are firm. The back seat has ample leg and headroom. The interior is very basic, but this is the low-end model, so for comfort, let's give the Sportage a B. Now for performance. I always rate the cars on everyday use. 0 to 60 is the most important performance element since we all need to get on highways. The Kia Sportage is a bit underpowered. 0 to 60 is between 9 and 11 seconds, and that's with only one person in the car. As for handling, it corners like a truck, not a sports car. But families would not be racing this car, so for highway driving, it's fine. Now, if you opt for the plug-in hybrid, that can do 0 to 60 in 7 seconds, plus it can go 34 miles in only electric mode. But this test car is the base model, and so for performance, I give it a C. Economically, the website claims that the car can go over 30 miles per gallon on the highway and about 25 in the city. That's impressive for a car of this size. So what you lose in performance, you gain in gas mileage. And again, this is the base model, and for that reason, I give the Kia Sportage a B for economy. Let's talk about design. At first glance, it's hard to tell the difference between the base model and the loaded Sportage. From outside, the car has a nice stance and tapered windows along with narrowing lines in the rocker panels that gives the car a nice appearance. So for design in the SUV category, the Kia Sportage gets an A-. I want to add a new category just for this Kia Sportage, and that's value. When you add up all the factors of this car, and for a young family starting out, this car is less than $27,000. It's safe, has ample room, and great gas mileage, so for value, I'm giving the Sportage a solid A. The Kia Sportage is a lot of car for the money, and for that reason, I'm giving it an overall grade of a B+. And we're back. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this test drive of the Kia Sportage. If you like this show, click the like button and subscribe. Until next time, drive carefully.